For years, AI has promised to change 3D art. Type a prompt, upload an image, and minutes later, you get a 3D model. No sculpting, no long hours, no endless workflow. At first glance, it feels like the future. But once those models were imported into Blender, Maya, or Unreal Engine, problems show up. Broken geometry, messy wireframes, bad topology.
Are you going to Scarborough Fair?
The AI tool we are talking about today has been around for a while, and unlike many others, it doesn't promise to be perfect, but it promises to be useful. So the developers are upfront about its flaws, which I actually respect. This is their newer version, and they claim to have fixed some of the biggest issues from before, added a few new features, and improved overall reliability. So in this video, I am going to put that to the test.
Before we test this tool, here is why it matters. Most beginners see cool 3D works online and have no idea how hard it really is.
3D animation has never been an easy industry because every object, every environment, and every character that appears on screen usually begins with hundreds of small creative and technical decisions.
Before a single animation even happens, artists often spend days and sometimes weeks building the assets themselves. From modeling to sculpting, texturing, lighting, every single model needs clean geometry that can actually survive inside the production pipeline. That is why workflows in 3D industry can become incredibly slow and expensive, since even small creative changes can force artists to restart entire sections of a project. Unlike massive film studios with entire teams of artists, many creators today are trying to handle everything alone, sometimes all by a single person.
This is exactly why, even though I thought AI had come to ruin the uniqueness of our work as artists, I still had to put my ego aside and try out certain AI tools to see if they could make my workflow easier. Because it just makes sense to skip unnecessary busy work so that I can focus more on creativity. And that raises a very important question. What if the future of AI in 3D is not about replacing artists, but about reducing the most time-consuming parts of the workflow?
And that is where tools like HI3D comes in, positioning themselves differently. HI3D is an AI-powered 3D generation tool designed to turn images and concepts into usable 3D assets for workflows like animation, games, digital art, and product visualization. But unlike many AI tools that focus mostly on visual presentation, HI3D places a huge emphasis on geometry quality and workflow integration. The user interface is very simple if you ask me. By default, it's on General over here, and right around that corner you are presented with a space to import an image, which will then be converted into a 3D object, which you can later export in various formats for various projects. And so let's import our image. Remove background and enhancements are auto on. I'll leave it on. And then you have the version to choose from. The latest 2.1 is boasting a 2-minute speed, which I will test. This version also boasts of clean mesh, usable geometry, and high detail, which the 2.0 isn't good at since its focus is rich details, more realistic textures, and it's quite slow as well. Model type, you have fast and quality. Now, with the fast mode, you lose detail on the models generated, and that mode comes in handy when brainstorming, prototyping, rapid experimentation, and early concept development. And that distinction is very important. With the quality mode, you get high quality models ready for production, and so I'll go with that. My coins shot from 25 to 45. Geometry type, I'm going with geometry plus textures. And then there is the advanced option turned off. These controls are for users who want deeper customization over how their models are generated. Things like image editing, lighting adjustment, multi-view generation, and physical-based rendering materials are all editable in here to help artists guide the AI towards more stable and production-friendly results. Depending on what exactly you are here for, choose carefully. I would keep it on because I will need my UVs worked on manually and repaired if there are issues. And then hit on 45, which means I just lost 45 coins. Let's just hope it pays off.
If you're new to generating models on this platform, I understand that spending money on something you've never tried can feel risky. So here's how to get quality results with fewer tries. The first thing is to use clear images. The clearer your imported image, the better your results.
Okay, the 2 minutes stated here are for basic models, but if your model is a bit complex, you should be looking at more than 2 minutes. Now, let's take a closer look at our model. At first glance, I would say this is appealing. I'll generate a few more to test consistency, but let's first inspect the model. The texture needs a bit of work. If you are planning to use this for gaming, it's great. But since I need this for professional work, I'll export it into Blender and make a few corrections. The lighting, not so much to talk about. Again, the texture, not exactly what I expected, but because I made those editable in the advanced tab, I don't really mind. I'll use higher quality textures later in post-production. Overall, this is clean. It's not a huge jump from the previous version, but it's better. One thing to keep in mind, in case the model generated doesn't live up to quality or doesn't meet what you had imagined in mind, you have the option down here to retry that same model generation 3 times, which I think is okay considering the 45 coins already spent. A lot of you ask where to start with tools like this. If you want to experiment with HI3D, I've included a link below that gives you an extra 500 credits when you sign up. One last thing, 3D printing. Ever tried printing a giant prop or complex model only to realize it doesn't fit your build plate? your only option used to be hours of painful manual work. HI3D's latest update just killed that workflow with its new split to print feature. Now, here's exactly what split to print is. It's an AI engine that automatically deconstructs a single 3D model into multiple separate print-ready pieces. You upload your STL and the AI scans the entire geometry, identifying natural seams, separate limbs, and individual components. With one click, it calculates optimal cut lines and crucially generates integrated alignment pins and holes so your parts snap together perfectly. It outputs individual error-checked files that go straight to your slicer, no manual intervention. Now, contrast that with the traditional method. Before this, you had to open Blender or Mesh Mixer, manually position plane cut tools to slice the model apart, and then painstakingly design your own connectors, pins, dovetails, or pegs to ensure reassembly. After all that, you often export broken meshes with gaps or flipped normals that require tedious manual repair. That process takes about 1 to 4 hours for complex models and demands real CAD knowledge. If you are into 3D printing, you definitely should try this.
A few things I noticed while testing that didn't make it into this video. First, uniqueness. After testing multiple models, I still felt that most professionals might prefer modeling from scratch. Honestly, I felt that too. At some point, no matter how hard I tried or how many times I regenerated, what I had in mind just wasn't coming through properly. And remember, each generation costs credits, so that can feel like money going down the drain. I think many people will have an issue with this. Maybe I'll take some time later to list out possible solutions. What most people can rely on HI3D for right now is as a filler tool. Things like rocks, trees, background props, and simple assets. Second, computing power. This tool demands a lot from your machine. My fans run like crazy during testing. If your computer is slow, say an i3, i5, or i7 older than 7th generation with less than 2 GB of VRAM, you feel lag in the interface. But hey, this is 3D. That shouldn't be a surprise. Third, retopology. This isn't a big deal for me personally because I always export my models into Blender or 3ds Max. Close-ups are very important for my work, and complex character animations are things you can't really skip these days. So yes, I'm fine doing cleanup myself. But if HI3D could improve their retopology, specifically edge flow and polygon density, that would be incredibly handy for everyone. Until my next video.